Hey folks, Jonathan here. I've been working hard every day, and I know it don't seem like it with not doing any videos, but I have been really rolling. Mainly trucks, some forklift work, but mainly these trucks, trying to get ready for rotation, highway patrol. That one I had to put a winch on. You can probably see the drum laying behind it. I actually exploded a winch on it, so I had to replace it. I want to do a video on that coming up soon. I guess this is going to be a little line of videos of stuff I think are junk, and starting with the mile marker winch that I put on that truck. You know, that was military grade, rated at 12,500 pounds. They're a joke. So anyway, more on that later. All right, so put 8 new injectors in this. Let me see, all kinds of work to it. Been working on it hard. I finally got that bed on it off of the Super Duty Ford, and I've got a wreck on it I'm fixing to deliver somewhere. But I've been having some major issues with this truck that I could not figure out, and it was really a pain, and I'm going to go through it and explain to you why I think this air ride system, which is called a Link aftermarket air ride, I think it's junk. I mean, I really do, and I wouldn't recommend anybody running this. Trucks, forklifts, skid steer, had a bearing go out in it, and not in the engine, but a bearing in the gearbox. So ordered one for it. I've been working on a little bit of everything. I did buy a couple steam engines at auction down in Georgia, Savannah, and I went down and picked them up. It was at the Keller's flea market. I guess they sold out and they were selling everything up there, but here's one that I bought. Now this is a, you know, it's been sitting a long time. These things been rained in and everything else, but this is a Sears built by Kenwood, and which is what that one is. That is a 1.5 horse, which is the smallest. This is a 10 horse, which is the largest. This one's 5 foot 4 inches, I think, something like that, 60 something inches tall. And like I said, it's stuck. Got it at a deal, I think. And like I said, it's nice to have 2 of the same kind. It'd be nice if we could get the whole set. Wouldn't that look neat? But anyway, so with this being a Kenwood Sears, you know, what we do, the paperwork or the advertisements has all the measurements, and to the exact. In other words, they've got the flywheel size, the flywheel width, the crank diameter, the bore, the stroke, the actual belt pulley, which is on the other side, the width of it and the diameter. And so you take all the measurements and you check it, and it actually checks out 100% to be that. And anyway, so this says Wicks Brothers, New York. Now these was, I think they were also in Michigan, maybe a couple other places, but it says furnished by, and it's kind of funny because they were known for buying and rebuilding and reselling engines, working on them, you know, doing whatever it needed and then reselling them. So that was actually probably, you know, a tag that where it was sold as second hand. And pretty neat, brass tag, you know, intricate. If you can see the way that it's printed and all, I mean, that's just neat as can be. And that's an early tag. So this engine could be late 1800s, early 1900s. It don't have the S, you know, the dog tail or the S-shaped flywheel like this one, but it's not a bad engine. Can be redone. So let me show you another one. Okay, here is a horizontal side crank engine. Kind of odd because even though it is a side crank, it don't have, normally you'd have a side crank, a bearing, flywheel, then another bearing. And the other bearing would mount on a separate pedestal or you know, concrete foundation. This is neat because it's all in one, and I really like this base. This is you know, a lot of intricate work, and that was a heck of a pour. And then you got to machine them when you're done. They even put the port in it for the exhaust pipe to come out. Neat as can be. I don't know what the reasoning is for this design, but a lot of them you'll see has that design on them. And it may be something to do with, you know, a lot of the marine ones and the early ones was wood. They might have just done that to make them look, you know, sort of like wood or a little different. But this engine is another Southern made engine. I'm trying to get, I'd love to get one of each, you know, of every Southern made engine out there, but I don't know if that's possible. But 11 by 16, which is a pretty good size engine, and we got Buddy checking it out. I just unloaded, so here, bud. So anyway, Continental Gin Company out of Atlanta, Georgia. So we got this. We've got the Schofield from Macon, Georgia. We've got we need to get an original Taylor, and then I have located a Liddell, which is an engine that was made in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'll have to look and see that there's more companies than that. I think Birmingham had some, and Alabama and stuff like that. But we'll just slowly try to find, you know, stuff as we go. I've got a line on a couple other engines. Anyway, that does it for the engines. These two is what I bought. There was actually 5 on auction. I did not bid on the other 3 because 2 of them were Schofield and 1 of them was a Frick. And I've got a Frick and I've got Schofield. So I was really tickled to see that the guys that bought them didn't buy them for scrap. I was able to talk to one of the guys that bought the Frick, and then the other ones, I'd say they didn't sell for scrap because they brought more money than what they would have brought. So I feel good about that, because I was almost going to wait and try to buy them just because I didn't want them to get scrapped. You know, even in this condition, if this is nothing but yard art, then that's fine. You know, it's something to teach with, and, you know, show people that the South, even though the industry wasn't nothing like it was in the North, you know, they still did build some stuff down here. Okay, edger. I bought this along with that big Caterpillar power unit. I got a 4-sided planer. I got another edger. What else did I get? 2 swing saws, just a bunch of odd and end pulleys, belts, flywheels, heavy flywheels for line shaft, a lot of line shaft, couple long pieces with pulleys and such on them. So anyway, this was with it. This is a tower, is the name of it, the Tower Edger, but it's actually made by Gordon Hollow Blast Grate Company, was the company that actually built it. It says Greenville, Michigan. So this is a 27-inch edger. It's supposed to do 27. The way it's set up, it's only going to do, what was it, 22 maybe, which is, you know, more than enough. The boards I have cut here are 16. I'm probably going to cut them all, or most of them, at 15. So we're trying a new way here. Instead of cutting and then turning log, cut and turning log, I cut the log, flipped it all the way over, and then I just sliced these off of it. And then I'm going to run them through the edger and just see how much more efficient it is, or if it's any more efficient. This has got carbide teeth. They will, I'm sure, last longer than a band blade. And we wanted to try it out. I restocked it, cut the wood for it on the band mill, and then Jordan, my son, and I done it together. We've actually got his case tractor hooked to it, and I popped the tire yesterday on it. My fault. So I ordered him a tube, so we got to get a tube and get the tube in it. That's the only thing around here right now with a belt pulley, which is a good old tractor. Runs good, engine runs really well, and plenty of power to do this. So we're playing with it. I've done some 1x4s over there that come out really well, and just one through it yesterday. I haven't had a lot of time to mess with it, but we're getting ready to start. We're going to try to get these boards done and just see how they look, and then we'll put them up to dry and see how they come out. And then I just done this today. This is the Mercedes-Benz engine that came out of the little truck. And the reason I pulled it is I'm going to make this into a power unit. We're going to come out and put a belt pulley on it. And anyway, that was easy. That just came out the bottom, and you know, I cut the front end out first, and then I took this out. So used the flame torch on it, or the flame wrench. How about that? And come out pretty quick. So this is a really good engine, and like I said, it'll be enough for that. All right, what else we got going on? All right, so I replaced one of the winches on this truck, and I've got a video on that coming up about the winches, because winches I have on that truck are just pretty much a joke. And let me see, I've got to put 4 tires on the back of that one. I got 4 new tires for it. And the other one, I didn't do a video on it, but I did do a injectors in the other truck, the 4-door, and a bunch of other stuff. And I do have a video coming up on it that I've done about the air ride suspension and the issues that I've had with it. And it was sort of a mess, but anyway, got some wood over there to cut too. Some logs, free logs around here. That's pine, yellow pine. Some of them are, I guess, up about 20 inches, and then most of them are smaller, down to 8 or 10, 12. But lumber around here, wood or trees around here is easy to get. Just watch Facebook Marketplace and people advertise it for free. So, all right, okay, folks. I jumped ahead on the forklifts, and I went ahead and got the Caterpillar together, and I did it by pulling the Perkins out of the 55 Chevrolet pickup, and we're going to put a gas motor back in it later. I just decided to, because I could use the engine and it was a direct bolt in, we put it in this. And then let me see, put tubes in the tires, because they were where the flat spots were, where they had been sitting. They didn't want to seal on the bead good. So I spent the money and I got really good tubes. I got about $150 in the tubes. And then let me see, the Jacobson air cleaner. This thing didn't have an air cleaner, and that's where the water came in and got the engine stuck. So I actually built a plate and welded this on it. Now I'm still going to run a bracket down, which is pretty sturdy. I mean, but I don't want to, I think the vibrations over time, it may try to crack it, so we don't want to do that. All right, so you can see the chrome alternator, the exhaust pipe, everything's hooked up and working, and I had to use, let me see, I used the manifold off of the Caterpillar oil pan pickup. I ended up having to use the pump because of the way it was made, which the pump was good. So valve cover, the bracket below the water pump. There was a lot of stuff I had to change, but I mean, it worked out really well. Didn't use the turbo, of course. I just went ahead and used the exhaust manifold that was on it. Basically, with, of course, changing a lot of parts, it was a bolt in. And radiator was good. There's no issues at all, with anything on the engine. And the drive system was perfect in it. And I actually got a hold of the guy that used to own it before the guy I bought it from, and he said that it was mixing. And I thought he meant mixing antifreeze into the oil, and the oil looked, well, it didn't look, it looked runny. And then when I went to change the oil pan, I drained out 4 gallons, and it was half diesel. So that's what was mixing. The injector pump seal on the injector pump seal evidently was bad, and so straightened that out a little bit. It was smashed in pretty hard, and like I said, got the muffler hooked up, the original. I still need to turn the fuel back down on the injector pump. I've got it turned up. I've been running it, as you can see, and it usually runs about 160 to 170, and then when you shut it off, it heats up a little bit, and when you start it back up, it cools back down. Now this is towable forklift. It's got a tow position, and that allows the wheels to move behind you, and you actually put a tow bar on it and tow it with a truck. Now it weighs 14,500 pounds. It's an 8,000 pound forklift, and I have no doubt it'll do the 8,000 with what I've already moved and how I've used it. It'll do it for sure. So I used to do a lot of this. I used to buy a lot of different equipment. It really wouldn't matter what it was, dozers, backhoes, rubber tire loaders. I've had rollers, vibratory rollers, stuff like that. I would buy whatever I could get if it was a deal, and then fix it, put an engine in it. I've had motor graders. The last motor grader I had, it was in a corner of a field and got burnt, and then the motor got rained in and stuff, and I bought it, cheap as can be, and then I bought an engine out of a Gleaner combine, put it all together, painted it, put military tires on them 920s that you can get so cheap, and I actually put it on eBay and sold it years back when eBay was real auction, and it went to California. So and I made really good money on it, and it's not hard to make money on machines like this. I bought this thing, it was a scrap guy, but I paid probably, well, more than what scrap would be, I guess. I gave $2,700 for this machine, and I'm going to tell you that because I don't plan on selling it. So I gave $2,700 for it. I've got $150 in tubes. I had the engine, bought a few things, filters, stuff like that. So I probably spent another $150. So I'm right here in it for 3,000 bucks. Buying, fixing up, and reselling equipment has always been a really good way of making money for me. And I'll show you what we've got done on the other one so far. Okay, so here's the engine, well, where the engine was in this one. Done it the same way as the other one, just pulled engine, transmission, and all out, because that's the easy way to do it on them. So here's our Perkins, and here is our Chrysler. World of difference in these engines, so it's going to be a fun fit. But anyway, this is a reverser transmission and a 4-speed transmission. And one of the reasons, the main reason I've done the other forklift first is that engine, the Perkins engine, had a stick shift. Well, the other forklift has a shuttle shift, so it runs a torque converter. So I didn't need the flywheel that was on the Perkins that was in the 55 Chevrolet, but I did need the flywheel for it for this. So we're going to use the flywheel out of the 55 and off the 4-cylinder Perkins on the 6-cylinder. It shows that it'll work, it's the same. So anyway, we're going to have to raise up everything 2 inches. It's a lot of work, but I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's actually worth it when you're, when you look at it in the long run. It's going to be such a better machine, but doing some changing on it's not going to hurt it, because it's not like we need to keep it all original, because we're going to go to the Champ website and order a Champ part from California for a 1957-58 model forklift. That's just not going to happen, so it really don't matter. So that's the plan, is to do whatever we've got to do to get this engine into that machine. I almost was just going to save the engine and actually try to buy at an auction coming up. There's 3 big forklifts like I originally wanted, but I'm afraid after using this Caterpillar that if I get one big one, I sell those small ones, I'm not going to be happy with it, because a big one's not going to be good to move cars with. And I'm not going to lie to you, I move more cars than I do big steam engines. So we'll just have these 2. We'll try the 2 and see if they work. If they don't, this one and the crane will work. We'll do whatever we need to do. I mean, we're just talking about being able to unload the trailer and set the load off right beside the trailer. Move it just a couple feet. It's not moving it a lot. This engine transmission, or this transmission, does have a drop to the back, a drop box. So we're going to raise mainly the front of the engine up. We're going to go a little bit on this end. If you raise the front up and you're pivoting from here, you're going to be lowering the back. So we really don't want to lower the back. So what we want to do is raise this up part of the way, maybe 1 inch, and then raise the front up 2 inches, and that will keep our alignment okay for our drive shaft, because it's so daggone short. But it will also get our clearance for our oil pan that we need. So I'll show you what we're working with here. You can see this steering. Now that engine is completely offset, and I'll show you that in a minute. But we've got to be able to clear everything else down there too. And there's no easy way of doing it. I know that cross member right there where the engine mounted has got to come out. And then eventually them 3 bars have got to come out, them lower bars, and that pump's going to be mounted in there. Now the pump, I checked that also. It's not going to work on this engine because it's turning the opposite direction. Alright, I'll quit boring you to death working on trucks, and I try to get you some more videos. I just been so busy it's hard. So alright, appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, bye.